Today on Hardcore History, we'll be talking about the Industrial Revolution with your host, Sam Alabi. Alright, Max and Cal are here to debate with me about the effects of the Industrial Revolution. Personally, I think that the Industrial Revolution was very good for humans.
Well, I think that the Industrial Revolution was a complete mistake for humans in
I'm
America.
going to have to agree with Cal on this.
Kyle, why would you think that the Industrial Revolution was a complete mistake? I see a more positive outcome than negative outcomes.
Because, for example, child labor was made because of the Industrial Revolution. Now we have 9-year-old kids working in sweatshops to make our shoes and clothes.
The Industrial Revolution is bad because the working conditions of the factories are horrible and they are very hazardous for the people working in the factories.
That's true, but look at the bright side. We're getting our clothes and shoes a lot cheaper now because of the labor that those children are choosing to do. They were never forced to work in those factories.
Well, the kids never chose to work in the factories. They have no choice but to work in the factories because of the money problem their families have.
I was right about the families having no money because of the Industrial Revolution. We have very few people that have 90% of the wealth, and the other 10% of wealth goes to the large population of peasants.
Exactly, and that is why they had no middle class back then.
That's true for back then, but now we have a large middle class in modern society because all the wealth that the wealthy had is now equally distributed.
I agree with you on that point.
What about social classes? For example, the role of women and the role of men.
Exactly, another good point. Up until 1960s, women were discriminated and always thought of as less than men.
Well, back in the day, men always worked harder than the women. That's why they were stereotyped as weaker than men, at least most of the men.
Saying that men are better than women.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they were stereotyped because they wouldn't work as hard as men.
Okay, well that might be a good point, but what about the education?
About the education.
Well, back then kids had to drop out of school so they could work in a factory and make money for their family. Thus, so they would not be getting an education, and they were all uneducated.
People had to pay for school, and not everybody had the chance to go to school.
Well, you have a good point there, but because of the Industrial Revolution, we have different types of art and literature. For example, realistic art and literature was born, which brought a complete new era to art.
Well, realistic art shows the pain of modern-day people and workers, and that pain would not have existed in the Industrial Revolution.
I have to agree with Cal on his point about modern-day struggles through our life.
Also, because of the Industrial Revolution, America is now a capitalist country.
So, what's wrong with capitalism?
Well, since America to this day is a capitalist country, everyone is competing to make more money and no one has equality by wealth.
For example, why is a doctor paid more than a teacher?
A doctor works fewer hours than a teacher but gets double salary.
Well, you made a good point there, and I agree with you that the payment system is messed up, but what is wrong with competition? Without competition, people would not be inventing new things, and technology would not have advanced.
A good point, but with all the competition, the factories are working at full capacity, and all the smog that is released into the atmosphere is ruining the environment.
Max is right. The environment is severely being damaged because of everything being done. It is because of us.
Give me an example about how the environment is being severely damaged.
Well, because of all the smog in the atmosphere, global warming is rapidly heating up the earth.
Oh, why do you care? You'll die before the outcomes of global warming take effect to damage the earth.
Well, I care about what happens to my kids and my grandkids.
That shouldn't be your problem to deal with. By then, technology would be so advanced that they would figure a way out to reverse the effects.
Well, because of the Industrial Revolution, people were having more kids to make a huger family, so more people would go and work, which led to people having unprotected sex, causing STD.
That's why we got latex, condoms, Trojan.
That is also a good point.
Well, folks, we're out of time here today on Hardcore History. Meet us back next week for more Hardcore History. Let's go to BK.